Mr. Knuuttila, if John McCain is elected in 2008, some expect that he will have the opportunity to appoint a conservative Supreme Court justice who might provide the votes needed to overturn Roe v. Wade. If Roe v. Wade were to be overturned, would you support an effort to ban abortion in Massachusetts? Why or why not?
Pro-life questions are difficult. Pro-life choice, pro-life questions are difficult. Very difficult. Right now, Roe v. Wade is the law of the land. While Vice Chairman of the Joint Committee on Criminal Justice, I was involved with crafting and helping get passed what's known as the buffer zone bill. Show of hands, how many people know what that is? Great. And what that does is it protects citizens who want to seek help from Planned Parenthood institutions, a buffer that within 25, now 35, I believe, feet, you can't approach them with pro-life paraphernalia. And it was principally for public safety issues. And we crafted that bill under the guidance and leadership of Chairman James Valley of Franklin. Everybody in the listening audience knows by now, as well as the audience here before us, that I am a pro-life candidate. I'm a Democrat, and it's just the way I was brought up. But Roe v. Wade is the law of the land. And I'm a Democrat, and I'm voting for the Democratic candidate for the presidency of the United States.
Representative Flanagan.
I think it's important that we take a look at this issue from where it hits home the most. And while I'm a pro-choice candidate and I believe in the people's right to choose what they want to do with their body, I think that it's important to know that it's not something that I want used as an everyday contraception. I don't think that it should be used like that. I think you have people who have been molested. I think you have people who have been beaten. I think you have people who have medical conditions that have the option to make that choice. And from what I understand from kids that I've worked with and some that have gone through that serious issue, it's not an easy decision to make. It's not something that you're just going to make in the course of a conversation. I think it takes a lot of guidance, a lot of counseling. It takes a lot of energy on behalf of the people and the families that are surrounding them. I know that the pro-life, pro-choice issue is something that drives people in some instances. I know that because I've heard it for years on end. My grandmother used to sign a petition and send it to my office. But I also know that there are people out there that are actually hurting, that have no place else to go and nothing for them. And I think that they know that they're being responsible people if they make a choice based upon their circumstances and based upon what they believe. And I'm going to continue to support people's choice.
Thank you. Representative Flanagan. In 2006, the Senate passed the Public Safety Act, a Corey reform measure which would have cut the amount of time it takes for a felony conviction to be sealed from 15 years to 7 and a misdemeanor from 10 years to 3. Last month, the governor proposed a more restrictive version of the bill, which would keep felony and misdemeanor records public on a Corey check for 10 and 5 years respectively. Should the Commonwealth reform Corey procedures, and if so, which bill is more appropriate?
I think that the Corey reform needs to happen. I think something needs to be done. We're putting money into programs in the prisons and the jails to train prisoners in some kind of a skill or trade. And then they're getting out and then they're coming back into our communities and they have no ability to get a job because everyone takes a look at the Corey to find out that 25 years ago they had something on their Corys. I think that whether it's a 7 or 3 or 10 to 5, I think that's a conversation that needs to happen. I mean, I certainly support people going back to work. I will tell you that, and I know this isn't part of the bill, but I am not going to want someone with a Corey, especially for assault, to go into nursing homes, in schools, in hospitals, in daycare facilities, and working with our elderly. I just think that we have to put a block on that. But I think that the 10 to 5 is certainly, there's a reasoning for it, and I think that I may be supportive of that, but it's a constant conversation. It's not something that you're just going to come out and people are going to be rehabilitated and they're going to go back to work and it's going to be great. I mean, there is a process from probation, and I would want to see the statistics on the 10 to 5 years.
Thank you. Mr. Knuuttila, same question to you.
Bob, I think that it should be 7 and 5. I think you should be able to pierce the veil, however, for people who apply for jobs that serve vulnerable populations, senior citizens, children, handicapped, mentally ill, the people who need state services. I think you need to have the ability to pierce the veil. I also think that what's very important in this quarry reform package is to take the criminal record question off the initial application. All right? Because what happens, people are people. And if they saw the criminal records box checked, yes, I have a criminal record, that puts them into the trash can immediately. Now, after they make that first process, after they go through that first culling and they make it, can we then check and have a quarry check after that so that they're not eliminated based solely because of a misstep that they maybe have been responsible for in their earlier life? I think that's necessary, because what happens at the end of the day, listen, I'm a special assistant attorney general. I'm the general counsel for the Worcester County Jail and House of Correction. We are court ordered to be at 1251, 1,251 people. We were as high as 1,572. You got to give people, if they don't serve vulnerable populations and they've committed a misdemeanor, take the question off the initial application and give them the second chance. Because at the end of the day, that's what a kind and caring society does. That's what rehabilitation is all about.
Thank you.
So court reform is important.
Thank you.
Welcome.